Often when we travel places, after we've gone to, say, 2 different places we were really excited to go to, we enjoy doing a comparison for many reasons. So we can share that with you if you're trying to decide maybe on one or the other. But also, it's kind of just a regroup for us. Like, what did we like about this place?
Right.
What would draw us maybe to come back again the next time?
So this is all about Thailand versus Vietnam. What did we learn? What didn't we know that we found out while we were there? Now we're going to start with a visa to get into these 2 countries. In Thailand, you don't need one if you have a U.S. passport. Now, that includes other countries as well. Check your own website and see what is required for you. But in most cases, you don't need a paper visa. You can just show up and stay for 30 days.
So that's a really easy location to go to, which made it, the last time when we were just there, they actually had an extended period so you could be there for 45 days. So
Right.
that was really a nice bonus.
Right, and
for
you
us.
can extend the visa too for longer than 30 days if you'd like. There are consulates all over the place. We noticed them in Chang Mai, Bangkok. Just go in, there's a fee, you extend that visa, and from what we understand, it's pretty easy to do.
Now for Vietnam, it's not as easy. You do need to apply for a visa, an e-visa online prior to arrival. It's going to cost you $25 if you go through the government website,
Right.
which is how we did it. Some of these other websites try and kind of give you a little scare tactic of if it doesn't work, you don't get your money back and all that kind of stuff. And so they'll offer to do it for you for a fee. We did it through the main website. It was completely fine. Right on the website, it tells you it's going to take 3 days for you to get your approval. And it was pretty much exactly 3 days. And at this time, you're getting 30 days for your visa. And my understanding, there isn't another visa option at this point in Vietnam. There is talk of that being changed. And so you do have the option when you're leaving, honestly, both Thailand and Vietnam, you can just leave on a visa run and then come back. So you don't have to be out of the country for an extended period of time.
Right.
You just have to basically go across the border. I think some require you fly out. You can't just bus run it. Fly to another country, take a weekend, go somewhere, and then when you come back in, you're then stamped again for that 30 days. Now in Vietnam, it would be reapplying for the
Right.
process and getting another 30 days, where in Thailand, you're just gonna get stamped for another 30.
Now there are differences obviously in these 2 countries, and we'll get to that. But accommodations was not one of them. We found some fantastic places in both countries. In Thailand, we had a rooftop pool, we had a weight room, we had everything we needed. We had a washer. We did not have house cleaning, however.
No.
But everything else was right there.
It was, yeah. That was a great place. And then in Vietnam, our place was fantastic. We absolutely loved it. And that was one thing we did have that we didn't get in Thailand, was we had twice a week cleaning, which was really nice. So we
Right.
have, that's not common. That's not something you see a lot, but I did see it on a lot of listings in Vietnam.
Right.
So if that's something you're looking for, then that might be the place for you. But yeah, the accommodations were fantastic. And so I would say that both places, it's kind of very similar. The next big area is, what was the food like? Drinking. How accessible was that, and the pricing on that? And then also, what about markets? What about grocery stores, convenience stores, and then also just kind of your night markets?
You gotta eat.
You have to
We
eat.
gotta eat.
Yeah.
And Thailand is one huge food court. The Thai food was amazing everywhere we
Loved
went.
it. Absolutely loved
And
it.
it was accessible everywhere we went. Not only the street food, but the convenience stores.
Right. There was a 7-Eleven. We had places
Yeah.
where it was like 2 in 1 block.
Yeah.
So, and these are small blocks. So it's just funny. The accessibility to the convenience stores, and then having
Yeah.
food available to you in those convenience stores. So there were plenty of times, depending on the location we were staying at that point, that we were actually getting our meals in 7-Eleven, which can sound really crazy to say, but they actually have really fantastic little frozen
Yeah.
meals, rice and curries and different kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they
It
were
was
great.
It was great, and
Yeah.
so that was really a fantastic thing about Thailand. And the night markets in Thailand, their night markets were my favorite. I just loved them. They had such a variety of different kinds of foods.
Now, one of the differences between Thai food and Vietnamese food, which we didn't know going in, was Thai food seems to be a lot more spicy.
It's definitely
A
spicy.
lot more flavor, a lot more punch.
Yeah.
And if you don't like spice, you can always ask for no spice. But half the time we would get the spice, and we grew accustomed to it. We
liked it, and we found that as we were away from it, we would miss that.
Yeah.
So it might be hard going forward because some of the areas you go to, spice is not a thing. So might have to travel with some spices in our bag.
That's a good idea. Okay, now if you've been following this channel at all, you know that we like to partake in a beer every once in a while. In Thailand, the beer was a little more often than a little. Yeah, it's too thirsty at some point every day. Beer in Thailand costs a little bit more than we had expected going in. Now, it wasn't crazy expensive, but it was more than we thought it was going to be.
Now, in Thailand, we found there was a craft beer scene,
yes,
but the craft beers were so expensive that we never had one. And when I say expensive, now I'm sure like if we go home back into the States, it's similar to what we were being paying there, but honestly, it was more expensive. So when I was looking at one menu at a place they were at that had a lot of different craft beers to choose from, the average price of those craft beers started at $8 to $9 and went up from there. And we were talking just for a regular size glass.
I drink a lot of Chang.
So we drink the local beers, which were great, especially because it's so hot. And they were still in the scheme of things affordable, but still more than what we anticipated.
Right. No. Yeah. Exactly. We thought it was just going to be dirt cheap. It wasn't. It was a little bit more. Like I said, I drink a lot of Chang. Now others drink Leo. There's a debate which is better. I prefer Chang. If you've had each, let us know. Convince me Leo is better. You won't be able to do it, but you can try.
Now in Vietnam, we were really excited right on arrival when we saw that the beer prices were about half the price, if not way less. If you got their local on the street little glass of beer, you pay just, really not much money at all for them. But if you were stopping, grabbing one of their local beers, it was maybe half the price that we were paying in Thailand. And then their craft beer scene was really great. Yeah. And it was maybe a third of the price of what you were paying in Thailand. Yeah. So that was a nice.
We had a great time. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. You always have a better time when you have a beer in your hand. So it just made Vietnam that much better. Now, the food in Vietnam is also very good. Is it as good as the food in Thailand? It's up for debate. The big food of choice in Vietnam is the banh mi.
Banh mi and pho.
And pho, right.
Yeah.
Now, pho is soup. If you love soup, you're in a good spot. The banh mi is a sandwich, a tasty sandwich, a good sandwich, but a sandwich all the same. To me, I preferred the Thai food.
Yeah, I found that I was missing the vegetables. I was missing the variety.
Yeah, I was missing the vegetables myself.
He wasn't missing it. He didn't even notice they were missing. The soup wasn't just the pho. It's a lot of different kinds of soup that they have to offer. So that is just one of the main dishes there in Vietnam. Now, it's not saying that the food is not great. Right. It's just we found that it was less flavorful and that it had no spice in it. Sometimes a little bit of spice, but very, very little spice. We just, if we're being honest, got kind of bored of the food. Yeah. So we found ourselves looking for different options.
Now, there's two things on that. We just came from Thailand, and you can't really beat that. And we were leaving Vietnam to go back to Thailand.
Yeah.
So
we're kind of looking forward to.
We had something else to look forward to. So nothing against the food at all. We just love the food in Thailand.
Right. Now, as far as like street food, which is something that we absolutely love when we're traveling because it's convenient, it's easy, it's also less expensive. So coming into Vietnam, I think we kind of anticipated we were going to have a similar street food scene that we had in Thailand, and you didn't have that. It's not as common in Vietnam. You definitely still have some street food going on, but the variety, once again, there's not a lot of variety, and it's just not something that's all over the place.
Right, and one point I would like to make, we've been asked this question many times since we've been in Southeast Asia. Have we gotten sick after eating any of this food? And the answer is no. We have not had any problems with any of the street food in either country.
Right. Now we have 2 weeks left in Southeast Asia, so hopefully he just jinxed us. So in 5 months, we have not gotten sick from eating the food here. We are I would say careful in the way that we make sure that we're eating it at a food stand that is clean and the food is being processed through pretty quickly.
Right.
They're cooking it in front of you, things like that. We do not drink the water in our home. We either boil it or we're buying bottled water, stuff like that. But we're not ultra cautious, and we haven't had an issue. So if that is a concerned area for you, I think you can breathe a little easy and just be really selective of where you're eating.
Right. Just calm down.
That never works.
Okay, another big difference between Vietnam and Thailand is the convenience stores. I would say in Vietnam, they're just stores. They're really not very convenient because there's not very many of them. Now, we did find a spot close to our Airbnb that we would frequent that serviced us well, but if we were out and about, we just did not find an easy pop-in 7-Eleven because they don't have any.
Yeah, there actually are no 7-Elevens in Vietnam.
I think there's one in all of Vietnam.
That was disappointing. But you just have to search a little bit harder for the convenience stores, and they didn't have the same selection of maybe those kind of easy meals to make at home and stuff like that. So, so that was kind of a downside for that. Now, also the other thing is night markets. Me being excited for the night markets, I love those. They did not have the same night market scene. They lean more towards the fish in Vietnam. So you saw a lot of fish options, which is great. But the one thing we found in Vietnam in comparison to Thailand, and we only found this at the markets, they were incredibly pushy.
They're very pushy.
And when we say pushy, not just, do you want to eat here? They are in your face with a menu and they don't stop.
They don't stop.
Yeah.
They don't stop. So that might be a reason you want to avoid some of those night markets. You also might want to avoid them, like Carrie was saying, a lot of it's fish-based. Mm-hmm. So if you've got fish allergies or any seafood allergies, you might want to just steer clear.
Yeah, it would be a tough place to eat.
It'd be a tough place to go.
Yeah. And we do want to be clear, that was the only place that we personally experienced that level of kind of aggressiveness and pushiness. The rest of Vietnam wasn't like that. So we don't want to all say that that was, a bad part of it. We just experienced that at the market in Da Nang.
Coming into Southeast Asia, we decided to start in Bangkok, right into the frying pan. We're going to get after it. We expected it to be crazy, chaotic, loud. It was all of those things, but very manageable. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the reasons why is because of the transportation system.
Right. We did expect to be overwhelmed, and we just weren't. Now, in Bangkok, they have so many great options for transportation, and we utilized a lot of those during the week that we were there. Mm-hmm. But our favorite out of all of them was their SkyTrain system and their subway system. Yeah. It was so easy to navigate. It got you all over the city to all the locations within walking distance, very easy walking distance to all the things that you'd want to see, and incredibly affordable. Yeah,
we had a great time, and day one we got on that subway system and figured it out, which made the rest of the week that much easier. So if you are going to Bangkok, just go in and figure it out, get it done.
Yeah. Now, Bangkok and the rest of Thailand also has other forms of transportation which are easy to use. Of course, they have taxis, but they also have the apps you can use. You can use Grab. You can use Bolt, which is supposedly cheaper. You can use InDrive. They have tuk-tuks. They have the red trucks. They have a metro system, and that's going to vary just a little bit by the location and what's available.
Right. Up in Chang Mai, we were paying, 30 baht, no matter where we wanted to go, for the little red truck. We know it's not called Little Red Truck.
That's what we like to call it.
That's what we like to call it, so we're sticking to it. You'll see them when you're there, but they're very practical, very easy to jump on and off.
Next, we hop over to Hanoi, Vietnam, and let me tell you, it's probably good that wasn't our starting point, because it might have been what scared us about coming to Southeast Asia in the start. That overwhelmed feeling was very much there. It was chaotic, but it wasn't the chaos that got you so much. Honestly, it was the noise. They honk for everything in Vietnam. They honk if they're going to go to the right of you. They honk if they're going to go to the left of you.
They were honking for no reason at all.
They're going down the road, honestly, just honking. But they have, it's kind of their mode of communication on the road. You're not seeing blinkers and stuff like that. They use their horn to kind of just let people know they're passing them. The noise became a bit much. So had we originally started our time in Hanoi, we might have hopped right back on a plane and gone home. I don't know. It was a little chaotic.
Okay, one of the things we used the most, if not every time in Vietnam, was Grab. We would literally order up a Grab on our app, go downstairs, and within a minute, he'd be waiting for us.
Yeah, if
So
not right
it was
across the
that
street
easy.
already. Yeah,
It was
so
that
easy.
convenient.
Yeah.
It was inexpensive. So we went with that. Now they do have a lot of taxi cabs too. And when you walk out of any establishment, a grocery store or whatever, you're going to have taxi cab drivers waiting to take you where you need to go. All you need to do is show them what the price Grab was going to charge you, and they'll match that price. So you don't even need to use Grab, but we found it awfully convenient.
The other thing we didn't notice at all when we were traveling around Vietnam, like a really good metro system, or in Hanoi we didn't see the Sky Train and stuff like that.
Right.
So I can't really speak on, we just didn't see it. And
We just
usually
didn't see it. There are so many motorcycles and mopeds and scooters that maybe buses can't get around. We don't know.
Yeah.
But we just didn't see the ease of jumping on a bus.
there just wasn't that simple ease of transportation there. But with that, it wasn't a big deal for us because Grabs were so affordable to use and so accessible. So it really wasn't a big deal. Now, the next thing that both of these countries have and have a lot of are the beaches. And we stayed on beaches in both locations, but now in Thailand, we stayed in Koh Samui and we stayed in Phuket. And the beaches in those areas were kind of what we envisioned as, Southeast Asia,
Thailand,
vacation,
right.
Thailand, what we were going to see. We had the white sand, we had the blue water, we had the little beach bars right there where your feet are in the sand and you're having a beer on the beach and stuff. So they definitely checked a lot of those boxes for us. They had beautiful beaches.
Every box, I think. Now in Vietnam, we stayed in Da Nang for the whole month we were there. We only had 30 days. That beach is also equally as fantastic.
Beautiful.
Now it's a city beach, so you've got a busy road right behind you, but you do have bars and restaurants right on the beach, so you can get that beer with your feet in the sand, which we love to do.
Yeah.
There's surfing, there's everything you might need. Now we loved it so much that next year we plan on going back to Vietnam and exploring a little more of that country because it's a beautiful country. We're going to do Ho Chi Minh City and we're going to head up the coast from there. So we'll experience more of the Vietnam beaches in the next year.
Yeah, I think that if we were comparing the two of them, I would say the beach in Da Nang, like Brian was saying, was absolutely gorgeous. It was a super long beach. If you like a nice beach to walk on, it was great for that. It had the waves and everything like that. But it was maybe missing that element of that feeling of kind of that beachy vacation feel. Tropical. Tropical feel. Yeah. That would be the main difference, but not at all dismissing how gorgeous the beach was. We loved it.
Right. Now the activities in both of these countries, besides the beaches and the beer drinking with your feet in the sand, there are other options as well. In Vietnam, we did a Halong Bay cruise. 3 days, 2 nights, and it was fantastic.
That was fantastic. And then out of Da Nang, you can go to Hoi An, which is amazing and should definitely be on everybody's list if you're in that area to go there.
Absolutely.
And then in Thailand, we went to Maya Bay and did a day trip out of Phuket, and once again, a must-see location.
Did my snorkeling for the first time.
Yeah.
Some of you may know. Dangerous circumstances. Sharks.
Baby sharks. Yeah, so there's no lack of activities or day trips or whatever you are looking to do as adventurous or not as adventurous. In any of those areas, there's plenty to do.
The people and the language. Now the people in both countries are fantastic. They're just amazing, kind people that smile. They want you to be there. Now we have had some comments on our channel about the Vietnam War. Vietnamese call it the American War. We have not gotten any pushback from any local at any point on any of that. Very sweet, kind people.
Very welcoming.
Very welcoming.
Yeah, we felt very comfortable.
Yes.
Now, as far as language barrier goes, in either of those areas, now in Thailand we found really no language barrier. Of course, there's certain circumstances where there was a little bit, but never to where it was a point that you felt you weren't able to order food or you couldn't get something. So it all worked out fine. Vietnam we did find that there was maybe a little bit of language barrier, not in your main tourist areas,
Right.
but if you kind of got out of those touristy areas, then there was a little bit. But once again, it's not really that challenging because
Right.
they're so kind. They want to try and understand you, and they're very kind in trying to have you understand them. So that makes all the difference, honestly.
Right. And it never hurts to learn a few terms. Please and thank you. They go a long ways. And honestly, out of all the places we've been in the last year and a half, is really only the older generation that may not speak English.
Yeah.
Everybody else, we haven't had to use Google Translate, I don't think, one time.
No, and if you do have, so Google Translate, we do use it for other things. So like when you're in the grocery store, if you need a menu or something
Right.
like that, you can take a picture or hold it up to a menu or sign, and it will actually translate that page to the language that you are wanting it to translate to. So that is a fantastic thing to have.
Yeah, it
You can
sounds expensive.
it's free. You can talk into it, and it will then put in that language what it is that you're trying to say. So
Right.
that's a fantastic thing to have. You can download the language that you're going to be needing ahead of time. So if you don't have Wi-Fi service, it's okay. You will be able to still use it. The other thing that is really great and was so fantastic coming here, because even if it says what something is, I like seeing a picture of the food I'm going to be eating. And their menus pretty much across the board,
Yeah.
pretty much everywhere you go, there's a picture of the drinks and of what you're going to be eating.
Yeah, I like pictures.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. It makes you more excited for what's to come.
A picture book. Now, is safety an issue? In Thailand, you probably assume not because it's a hot tourist destination. Everybody goes there. But what about Vietnam? Well, we felt very safe in Vietnam and in Thailand equally. We go out at night, we walk around. We never at any point have felt unsafe or insecure. Now, we do take precautions. We are very aware. We know our surroundings. We decide not to go to those places where maybe you shouldn't be going. But you can do that in any city, anywhere in the world. So we have felt very safe the entire time we've been here.
So now when I was looking up out of curiosity to see where they rank on the safety index, now Bangkok, and we're going to just go with the big city because that would be your most concerning place anyways. Bangkok ranked at 59 for safety, which is kind of in that low level. And then we'll go with Hanoi in Vietnam, and that ranked at 62, which equally is just really close. So they're both seen as very safe places
Right.
to be. They are both ranked as very safe to be walking during the daytime alone, and they are ranked as middle range to be walking at night alone. That, like Brian was saying, would go for anywhere that you are going to be. And just kind of fun fact, when I cross-checked and compared to a couple places in the States, both of these locations rank as being quite a bit safer on most of the levels than Seattle or New York.
Right.
So, I think sometimes you see these other countries and you just right away jump to a conclusion that you're going to be going, oh, are you going to be safe? Look at where you're from
Right.
and kind of look at that as a comparison. Well, so
There
we
you
felt
go.
good.
There's your answer. Yeah, we felt completely safe the entire time. What about weather? Now, obviously, these countries are both in the same region of the world, so you're going to get very typical weather for that region of the world. There's a monsoon season and there's a dry season, and it's very important you check which is which before you travel.
Right. So you want to make sure that you are checking for each location you're going
Yeah.
to be going to, because there is quite a variation in those locations. So even though it's, say, dry season and you're maybe in that northern territory, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be dry in all those areas. Now, when we were in Da Nang, we made sure and checked what the temperature was going to be because we were really excited to
Yeah, it
be
was
in
warm.
sunshine and heat. It was warm enough. Well, for the most part, it was warm enough for us. But it was raining, and we didn't expect that because we didn't look at that. So make
Right.
sure when you're looking that you're actually checking the temperature as well as what's the average rainfall for that month that you're going to be going, because that's important as well. One thing that I would add to that, though, for any of these areas that you're looking at, when we talk about rainy season, in a lot of the areas, not all of them, because some,
Right.
when it's monsoon, it just rains for days on end. But a lot of them, you have this quick downpour that comes through within, 20 minutes, a half an hour. You get pretty amazing storm that comes with it, thunder and lightning, and then it's gone. So it's still it's still, you can still enjoy your time there. You're not hungered down all the time.
Right.
But weather is something to take into consideration.
Okay, this category is probably the most interesting to a lot of you, and that's how much these countries cost. Cost of living. Both of these countries are affordable. We have done a video on each of these countries on what we spent the entire time we spent in each of these countries. So check those videos out. But we have found that we could actually live life a little bit beyond what we already do. We were able to eat out. We were able to drink the beers when we wanted to. We were able to do any type of excursions that we wanted to because these two countries were relatively affordable.
Yeah. Now in Thailand, we found it to be a bit more than we initially anticipated it to be. We could have absolutely cut costs in certain areas.
Yeah.
If we were traveling back, say, to some of the areas that we were going to, it would cost us quite a bit less because we wouldn't need to go and see all the things that we went and saw. We would still be enjoying all the food and everything like that, but there would be areas where you could cut the cost. We also choose to stay in comfortable Airbnbs. We don't go way beyond on budget, but we have amenities like we mentioned that we want.
We're not staying in hostels.
No, we're not doing that. But we did find that the costs of your housing and just the beer pricing and all of that kind of stuff to be a little bit more than we anticipated.
So we did find Vietnam to be a lot less expensive than Thailand. You got a lot more for your money in your Airbnb. You got a lot more bang for your buck, basically.
Beer in your mug.
Beer in your mug. Your accommodations were a lot less expensive for really the same thing. So that was something that really appealed to us.
Yeah, it definitely did. There was we got to enjoy life a lot more in both places, but we felt like you got a little bit more for your money in Vietnam. Even our accommodation, honestly, our accommodation in Vietnam was a nicer place. It was a bigger place and stuff. So I do think that your dollar stretches a little bit further in Vietnam, and it's a place that if you're looking to have a month to maybe save a little bit and live in a great place, then that might be a good one for you. So we absolutely loved both these countries. We have plans, like we mentioned, to return to both places and see more of the country as well next year, actually. So if you have any areas that you've traveled in these countries, or you have any things that you've seen that you liked about one or disliked, let us know in the comments.
Let us know. I don't feel like we got enough time in Vietnam, so we're definitely going to spend time in Vietnam next year. Yeah, let us know what we need to see, because we didn't get enough Vietnam.
We didn't get enough Vietnam. We'll for sure be going back to Thailand if it isn't just for the food. I will be missing the Thai food when we leave here. So thanks for watching. We really hope that this video kind of provided you a little bit of insight to the two locations and what the pros, cons, or whatever about them.
So thank you. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Thanks so much. Subscribe, thumbs up.
All right, cheers.
We would literally get on our app, order
Order abs.
I need to order abs.
I'll order some.
Can I get 6 of those? Let me start on.